This week, Oklahoma City is the softball capital of the world. The ASA Hall of Fame located here in OKC. But it's not just women's fast pitch anymore. Today, a unique men's event. The Big Boppers taking center stage. It's a border battle, slow pitch style. Team USA taking on their rivals to the north. Welcome to Oklahoma City. Get ready for an experience. Elite level slow pitch softball coming your way. It's a border battle. Canada against Team USA. Thrilled to have you along for the ride. This should be an experience. We're in Oklahoma City. My name is Eric Collins. Now, for you historians, you may remember that the very first live event ever on ESPN 30 years ago, it was a softball game, softball national championship. Well, we're going to do another softball game again, but this may not be any other softball you've ever seen in your life. If you played softball before, it may have been at a picnic, it may have been in a church league. This is altogether different. This is men's elite slow pitch. We're going to play a 7-inning game. The base is 65 feet apart, the pitching mound. It's 50 feet away from home plate. There will be 10 defenders on the field at all time. Every batter is going to start with a 1-1 count. Once you have 2 strikes on you, a foul ball is a strikeout. But maybe the big thing that we'll be watching all afternoon long is the home run limit. 10 home runs allowed per team. Once you get to home run number 11, it is an out each and every time. All right, well, joining me as we explore this elite level softball is a man who has won both championships as a player and as a head coach at the national level with ASA. Maybe better known to most sports fans out there as the head basketball coach for the Charlotte 49ers. This is Bobby Lutz. And Bobby, I want to talk to you about Team USA. They've got a guy who's considered to be the best in the business right now. Yeah, Brian Wegman is just an incredible athlete. He's a defensive player that can play any position. He hits with tremendous power. The exhibition game last night, he hit one that hit the light tower and broke a light out. It was at least a 450-foot shot. You talk to players from Canada, from the U.S., team owners, managers, you name it, everybody points to this guy as the greatest player in the game today. Well, as good of a player as Wegman is, good a pitcher right there is Andy Purcell. Unbelievable pitcher, a veteran, 39 years old. He's just a leader, a maestro out there, directs the defense. And you may not think of that in slow pitch, but he does a tremendous job of positioning his middle infielder as well as his center fielder, and then he fills the gap. This is an international game between Canada and Team USA, but despite the distance of the two countries, a lot of these players are going to be familiar with one another. A lot of the Canadian players play in the United States. Yes, and in particular, Jeff Gare is a tremendous player, plays the middle infield. He's also able to play different positions, hits with power, left-handed hitter, can go the other ways. He's really adept at taking the ball to the left side, but again, he can hit a home run when he needs to, and he is recognized as the best player in the game. And the pitcher for Canada will be Brian Higginbotham, a guy who's had a lot of experience in the United States. In fact, he will be pitching. They did not use him in the exhibition. A little bit of gamesmanship by the Canadians to save him for the border battle rather than waste him in the exhibition game, hoping that he knows enough about the players to keep him off balance. All right, folks, we're getting ready for some elite-level men's slow-pitch softball. They've got the signage out there. Will we see a 400-foot home run, possibly a 450-footer? We'll see. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, may I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for car insurance that isn't going to break the bank.
You're in the right place. Only Progressive gives you the option to name your price. Here.
A price gun?
Mm-hmm.
So I tell you what I want to pay.
And we build you a policy to fit your budget.
That's cool. Feel so empowered.
Power to the people.
The option to name your price. New and only from Progressive. Call or click today.
$5 for the sub, huh? What about the drink and the chips?
Extra. These KFC boxes are $5. 2 pieces of new Kentucky.
Progressive presents the border battle, USA versus Canada. It's brought to you by Progressive Insurance, the freedom to name your price. Visit progressive.com today. By Kentucky Grilled Chicken, and by the Amateur Softball Association. Play ASA. Welcome back, everyone. Progressive presenting the border battle here at ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. Canada taking on Team USA. This is an exhibition game, the best in the world playing on this diamond today. And let's take a look at how Team Canada lines up. There's going to be 11 batters in the lineup, so we'll give you the top 6 and the bottom 5. Dave Bolt, Jeff Gare, Frank Henry, Ryan Cayley, Todd Cadenhead, and Jeff Falardeau. That's the top 6 in the lineup. Bottom 5, Brian Higginbotham, the pitcher, James Kelly, the third baseman, Sean Wallace from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Tim Bentley, and Eric St. Jean. Picking up the rear, hitting in the 11th spot. And there's a good look at the 39-year-old right-hander, Andy Purcell.
Yeah, and he's the key to the defense for the U.S. Again, notice to start the game, the middle infielder is where the shortstop would typically be. Purcell will try to cover to second base.
This is men's elite slow pitch softball here in Oklahoma City. Every batter starts with a 1-1 count, remember. Dave Bolt is the man in the batter's box, and Purcell taking not a lot of time between pitches. This ball is shot right past the pitcher, Purcell. Leadoff single for Bolt.
Bolt has great speed. Gets that leadoff man on. Just what the Canadians needed was a good start.
So stepping into the batter's box against Andy Purcell is going to be Jeff Gare. We talked about him in the open. Middle infielder. He starts with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on him.
Notice Purcell moved his middle infielder to the right-handed side, and Gare still finds the hole.
Solid single, second one right through the box for the Canadian national team. Gare on at first, Bolt on at second now. Defensively for Team USA, 3 outfielders, and Brian Rainwater, Rick Baker, and Brian Wegman from left to right. And then they're going to play in the infield 5 infielders from first to third. It's Rusty Baumgartner, Dennis Ruley, Bryson Baker's actually the middle infielder. Don DeDonatis is the shortstop, and J.D. Genter is the third baseman. We told you about that outfield of Wegman, Baker, and Rainwater. There's a called strike now to Frank Henry, and he's down to the count 1-2.
He'll try to throw it inside, make him foul it off, and just make it close enough that the batter's tempted to swing.
A foul ball with 2 strikes, and it's an automatic out, scored as a strikeout. Deep to center field, going back and making the play is Rick Baker. Both runners will advance to the next base. There is now 1 out here in the first inning, but runners at second and third.
Again, Baker showing great speed, made it a routine play out in center field, even though the runners advanced.
So the first out of the game is a fly ball out to center field. 2 runners in scoring position for the shortstop, Ryan Cayley. 1-1 pitch is a ball.
Right here is not a bad time to go for the home run. You want to make use of your home runs. Looked like he tried, but popped it up.
Deep drive to the warning track. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Brian Wegman makes the catch. And coming in from third, Dave Bolt with the game's first run. Sacrifice fly to right. Yeah, talk about strategy home run rise. You only get 10 of them through the course of a 7-inning game.
Yeah, you know, Steve Shortland from the U.S. told me that he wants a minimum of 30 runs out of those 10 home runs. That's the goal. It's 30 from 10, and you know, you don't want to waste them on a solo or even a 2-run shot if you can help it. Unless it's late in the game and you got a chance to win the game, then obviously strategy would differ.
So Todd Cadenhead now the batter. He takes a ball. He is not thinking home run here. He's just trying to get a hit.
Trying to drive the ball through the middle, probably. But now with 2 strikes, he has to make sure he doesn't foul it. And so you'll watch the middle infielders pinch that middle.
2-2 pitch is a ball. Looks like Purcell throwing a lot of knuckleballs.
Yeah, he's all knuckleball.
That ball is going to get down. It's going to score the game's second run. Solid single for Cadenhead. It's now a 2-0 lead for Canada.
Purcell has a tendency to throw almost all knuckleballs. He loves for the wind to be blowing out, which seems unusual. You know, and at this point for Canada, clutch hitting, and that's what's happened right there. 2-out hit, got him into the game. That they have to take advantage of every situation. They can't give the U.S. any extra outs.
And for Team USA, you said trust is a must?
Yeah, just trust they're the better team. Yes. And so if they just do what they do and don't try to get it all too quickly, rely on their speed and athleticism, and then make use of those home runs. They do those things, a victory will be for the U.S.
This is Jeff Falardeau, the first baseman. Hits it deep to center field. Going back is Baker, and wow, first home run of the ball game to dead center field. Falardeau with a 2-run shot. The lead is now 4 for Canada.
believe it or not, he was not trying to hit that ball out. If you watch the swing, he was just trying to drive it. If you get a little bit of backward spin on it, trying to drive it, the spin helps the ball to carry and slow pitch, and that's exactly what happened.
So Falardo with the home run. There are 2 outs, and Brian Higginbotham, the pitcher, will bat for himself and line it down the left field line. Brian Rainwater cuts it off quickly, and that'll hold Higginbotham to a long single.
Great start for Team Canada. For them to be able to get to 2 outs and then come through with those big hits and score runs with 2 outs, just like we talked about clutch hitting, they're off to a great start.
Their head coach, Jeff Long, not upset that Falardo hit a home run that was only a 2-run shot?
No, because he was trying to drive the ball down. And you can't help if you're trying to do the right thing and the ball happens to go out of the ballpark, you can't be upset with your hitter.
This is James Kelly. He takes called strike, so it's now 1-2. Foul ball, and it's a strikeout. Purcell's pitch.
Gotta start
This
with
is
the ball
outside.
in front of you. Gotta start with the ball in front of your body.
Legal pitch has to be presented, and then it has to get to a
2 balls, 2 strikes.
minimum of 6 feet and no higher than 12 to be a legal pitch.
That one is going to be caught in the gap by Rick Baker. Baker showing that good speed, got a great jump on it and makes the play. Side retired, but
Absolutely.
Canada, they get 4 scratches. They lead 4-0. Team USA, when we come back, they'll be heading to the bat rack.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. National League East rivals square off. All-star David Wright and the Mets take their act to Atlanta as they look to turn it around in the second half.
He tries the flip, and he got it! How about that play around the back?
While the Braves turn to Chipper Jones and all-star catcher Brian McCann to slug them upward in the division race.
They swing a high drive. That ball is gone!
Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Nets Braves this week at a special time, 6 Eastern on ESPN.
A car wash for under $1.
Free cash and country music.
Today's game is being brought to you in high definition by the Amateur Softball Association. This is the border battle. Team USA taking on the Canadian national team in men's slow pitch softball. This is the best of the best playing here at ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. And already a 4-0 lead for the Canadian team. And Team USA heading to the bat rack. Let's take a look at how they'll line up. Once again, there are 11 men in the batting order, so we'll see the top 6 right here. Don D. Donatus leads things off, former Detroit Tiger farmhand. Brian Wegman hits second. Brett Helmer, J.D. Genter hits fourth. Bryson Baker and Rusty Baumgartner. Bottom part of the lineup, we're going to see Rick Baker in center field, who's made a couple of nice defensive plays. Dennis Ruley, Brian Rainwater, J.C. Kendrick, and the pitcher Andy Purcell. Along with Charlotte 49ers head basketball coach Bobby Lutz, I'm Eric Collins. Bobby Lutz not only playing on national championship teams back in the 70s, but also coaching national championship teams. Knows his way around the game of men's elite softball.
This United States lineup would be so devastating to try to pitch against. The guys that are hitting at the bottom of the order normally hit 3rd, 4th, and 5th on their normal teams. And this lineup is just incredible. But Brian Higginbotham is going to do everything he can to slow them down.
D. Donatus swings and hits the ball into the gap in left center field. It's run down by Dave Bolt.
Bolt has amazing speed. Watching him in the exhibition games, I think even a little better than Rick Baker, who is tremendously fast for the United States. Bolt covers a tremendous amount of territory.
Take a look at the defense for the Canadian national team. They'll need to be airtight today. We start at first base with Falardo, the second baseman Cadenhead, Cayley, and Kelly on the left side of the infield with Gare, kind of the middleman, an outfield of Wallace, Bolt, and St. Jean. As big as these guys are, and as well as they hit the softball, defense is exceedingly important. You got a play that can be made, it has to be made.
You can't give extra outs, and you even want to still make a couple great plays.
This is Brian Wegman, considered to be the finest player playing today, and he gets himself a solid single to center field.
You know, he's such a great home run hitter, but it didn't call for that with nobody on, so he just takes it and rips it right up the gap over the second base area.
So run on a first base, 1 out. And Coach, let's talk about the strike zone in this game.
Yeah, you've got to drop the ball between the front shoulder and the back knee, and it's where you're as if you were standing at the plate. So no matter where the batter's standing, that's what the umpire judges it based on.
Rhett Helmer, just tons of power. Are you kidding me? Look at that one. The 275-pounder swinging a hefty stick. He's a former champion in powerlifting with a 530-pound bench press, showing off that strength, scoring 2 runs for the Americans.
Yeah, believe it or not, he's got a bicep problem in his left hand, and you know, he's playing hurt a little bit, if you will, but what a shot that was.
That was at least 400 feet.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't measure it out to right field because it drops off, but that was a bomb.
We will be able to tell you how far home runs are hit if they go down the left field line. We've got the markings of 350, 400, 450, and maybe optimistically, we've got a 500-foot posting down the left field line as well. Swing in the back, getting a line drive base hit is the third baseman, J.D. Genter.
And that's the perfect thing, you know, you can't get excited in the emotion of that big home run by Helmer. You don't want to hit another one that's a solo, so a base hit to set the stage for the hitters behind you. Bryson Baker has power, but will probably try to take it up the middle or even to the right center area to try to get 2 on for the next hitter, Rusty Bumgarner.
Bryson Baker, middle infielder, takes a ball. Remember, everyone's starting with a 1-1 count, so it's now a 2-1 pitch right back to the circle, and they get the out. That's going to be a double play. It was caught off the shoe tops by the pitcher Higginbotham. They throw to first to double off Genter. Good defensive play by the Canadian national team, and they limit this potent American team to just 2 runs. Wow, what a double play to end the first. After an inning in the books, Canada on top of Team USA by a score of 4-2. We had a chance to talk earlier in the week with the head coach for Team USA, Steve Shortland, about what his assignment with the national team means to him.
I tell my guys all the time, I say, no matter what you've done in your softball career, you can be in every association's Hall of Fame. You can be a 20-time All-American. When you fill out your softball resume and you talk to your grandkids about what you've done in the past, this is going to be at the top of the list.
That's Steve Shortland. He is been around the block. He is currently the Armed Forces head coach. And he is honored to be here in Oklahoma City in the border battle, this exhibition game between Canada and Team USA. Leading things off here in the second inning, solid base hit for the left fielder, Sean Wallace.
Another great start to the second inning for Team Canada. Things are really falling into place for them early after a tough game against the USA yesterday.
This is the 10th man in the lineup for Canada, Tim Bentley. He is not playing a defensive position, just considered to be an extra hitter. Both teams will bat 11 men. There's a strike. Count goes full. 3-2.
3 balls, 2 strikes. There it is.
This ball is hit high and deep to left field. It's got a chance to the warning track, and making the play is Brian Rainwater. Tagging from first and going to second goes Wallace. Was Bentley going for a home run there?
I don't think so. I think what happened was he got 2 strikes, and Andy Purcell put a good pitch inside. It's harder to drive the ball up the middle, which is what most of these guys do when they're not trying to hit the home run. And he tried to drive it between short and third, but it got up, and it was able to be called by Rainwater in right and left.
First ball swinging, Eric St. John drives it deep to right field, and again the catch is made on the warning track. This time Brian Wegman with the catch. Again tagging and moving up an extra base is Sean Wallace, but there's now 2 outs.
2 outs is, almost a necessity to get at least this 1 run in for Canada. They, they don't want to put goose eggs up in any inning. They, they're the underdogs. They know it, but if they can put pressure on the United States, it's going to help them.
Dave Bolt single to center field. That's going to bring in Wallace for the 5th run of the day.
I love this guy. He's a great player. Dave Bolt, as I said, tremendous speed in center field, and I haven't seen him make an out yet over this 3-day period.
And leadoff man already 2 for 2 with a run scored and a run batted in. Only played an inning and a half. So Jeff Gare, another opportunity, singled in the first inning. Back in his native Canada, he owns a pool table service company. Hits this one into the gap. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Bolt on his horse. He's rounding third. He's being waved home. He will make it without a throw. Gare on his way to third. He's got a 2-out triple.
Top of the order coming through with 2 outs. Those are big clutch hits to put the Canadians a little farther ahead. And now Frank Henry, 3-hitter coming up. So it's a great position for Team Canada.
I've got third. Go down. I've got third, John.
And Gare really turning it on when he got to second. He was smelling a triple. On the ground, right back to the circle, fielded nicely by Andy Purcell, and that'll retire the side. So Purcell strands a man on at third, does give up a couple more runs. The Americans now trail by 4. 6-2 our score. The home half of the second is next.
You ready? As soon as we get ready to go, we'll get that one back in.
Welcome back, everyone, to ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. If you're just tuning in, this is an eyeful. This is men's elite slow pitch softball, the border battle between Canada and Team USA. So far, Canada on top by 4 as we play the home half of the second inning. Sunday is a special night of sports action on ESPN. First Sunday Night Baseball starts at a special time of 6 Eastern as the Mets take on their NL East rivals, the Atlanta Braves. Then at 9 Eastern time, don't miss the 2009 ESPYs as host Samuel L. Jackson will be joined by an all-star lineup of top athletes and entertainers to celebrate the best sports stories of the year. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell and the 2009 ESPYs presented by Under Armour and Land Rover. Rusty Baumgartner will start things off. First baseman from Gastonia, North Carolina, takes a strike. Count is now a ball and 2 strikes, a foul ball, and it's a strikeout.
Close pitch there. Great pitch. Trying to tempt Rusty to go after the one that was a little high.
What's a good pitch to try and get Baumgartner to hit a foul ball and get a strikeout?
If you can jam him on the inside, but see, he just inside out at that one.
Ball hit to right field, and it curves in and out of the glove of Eric St. Jean.
I've got third, John.
That's going to be an error, and all the way to third goes Baumgartner. That ball had a ton of spin on it.
Again, the inside-out swing, because, you know, Rusty could have taken that pitch and hit it over the fence and left, but it's a solo shot, which isn't good for the team. One of the most unselfish guys. I watched him take walks yesterday when a lot of guys want to hit. Here he just takes it on the inside out, which makes that ball curve, and as a result, St. Jean could not play it.
St. John from Marieville, Quebec. He is a French speaker. Had a little trouble with the English on that ball.
Exactly.
Here we go.
They rule it an error, a 3-base error on St. Jean. And a runner on at third base with nobody out. This is Rick Baker, left-handed hitter. Hits it hard to center field, and wow, what a catch made by Dave Bolt.
We have 2 great center fielders, one recording the out on the other. Rick Baker's great, but I tell you, Dave Bolt has really impressed me. Baker was trying to hit that ball between the gap between second base and the shortstop, but it got up on him, and Bolt ran it down beautifully.
Pick the bat and sleeve up here, guys.
Those fences are 300 feet all the way around from left to right. And you see how deep the Bolt is playing, but he still had to get a good jump to make that play.
Yeah, and you have to understand, they're not trying to hit those balls out of the park. You know, they're hitting it 300 feet on a line drive.
Ball.
This is Dennis Ruley. Coach, you played and coached this game back in the 70s and the 80s as this ball is rocketed down the left field line. Heading towards second base goes Ruley, and he'll make it standing up. How has the game changed in the last 20 years?
Well, the athleticism of today's players is unbelievable. The limit on home runs makes you have to have more athletic players. And we had some at Howard's. Our 81 team could have fared well in today's game. But a lot of teams were loaded with big, heavy guys that could hit home run after home run but couldn't defend. Here, you have to be able to do it all. And both these teams have great athleticism.
Has the ball changed at all over the years?
Yeah, the ball's changed. The bats have changed tremendously. The equipment, the technology. But the game itself is still important. Don't give the extra outs and clutch hits.
On the ground, one hopper is fielded by the first baseman, Falardo, and that's going to hold Rulli on at second. Didn't want to chance it. Normally, that's a no-brainer when you watch women's fast-pitch softball or even baseball. Ball hit to the first base side, and the runner at second moves to third, but not here.
No, and especially the old adage still applies: never make the first or third out at third base. And you know, there's no advantage. Dennis can score on any base hit, so why risk getting thrown out at third and making the third out?
You bet.
So the extra hitter, number 7, Jason Kendrick, will grab a bat. 240-pounder from Naples, Florida. He went to Valdosta State. He's down in Georgia.
Yeah, a lot of these guys had baseball experience either at the college and the minor league level. Jason has tremendous power, but again, here it doesn't really call for that, so look for him to try to find a gap up the middle or left center are the most likely spots.
This ball is going to get down. It's going to allow Rulli to score from second. On his way towards second, and in there with the head first dive goes Kendrick.
Yeah, look at that guy. You know, he's got great strength and yet the speed that he has, and that's where the game, as you asked me earlier, I mean, these guys are big and strong, but they are so quick, agile, and so athletic. Just ripped it up the middle area. Bolt gets to it quickly and makes a pretty good throw, but not in time.
So the 11th man in the lineup, the pitcher, Andy Purcell, 39-year-old, batting for himself. Hits it on the ground to the third baseman. This should end the inning. James Kelly across the diamond to Falardo. Side retired. Team USA again only able to get a pair of runs. They remain trailing the Canadian national team. 2 innings in the books. Team USA trailing Canada 6-4. Oklahoma City, it's the border battle. Men's slow pitch softball between Canada and Team USA. So far through 2 innings, we've seen 10 runs scored. You may be surprised, but third baseman J.D. Genter earlier talked about the importance of defense in this game.
For the most part, is make sure you make the plays. At this level, if you give them an extra out, you know, it could be 10 to 15 more runs before you can make up for that. So it's being consistent as far as catching, making the plays, and you know, make sure that you get them out when you can get them out.
Good look at J.D. Genter from Chickamauga, Georgia. It's about an hour north of Atlanta.
He's absolutely right, and you know, Canada actually gave the United States a run. You know, with the era, had they recorded that play in right field, St. John had called it, have been able to at least erase one of those 2 runs.
Ryan Cayley leads things off, the shortstop for Canada. His day job is as an electrician. Langley, British Columbia, was originally actually drafted out of high school as a hockey player. Was a goalie. Gets this one past the diving Bryson Baker into center field, and the ball is actually kicked around a little bit by Rick Baker. And that's going to allow Cayley to get all the way to second base.
And that's big from the standpoint you want to take the force outs away. So not being on first, if you can get to second base, you take the force outs, and that makes it a little tougher on the defense. If he were on first right now, the infield would be even deeper. You know, DiDonatis is in the grass, but everybody would be on the grass looking for the force out.
This is Todd Cadenhead, who hits it to DiDonatis. Gets dirty and makes the play. Former Detroit Tiger farmhand showing what it's all about.
Yeah, arguably the best defensive shortstop in the game today, and he showed why. And these balls are coming at you so fast. Look at that. Quickly up and makes a great throw.
DiDonatis drafted in the 20th round back in 1994 by the Tigers. Another ground ball in the infield. This time the play is made by the middle infielder Bryson Baker. They're now 2 outs. Moving to third goes Cayley.
Again, great positioning with having Baker on that side of the bag for the left-hander, which is normal. They usually favor the middle infielder toward the batter, right-hander to the left side, left-hander to the right side.
Bobby, I got to ask you, when you're keeping score and the middle infielder makes a play, how do you put it down your book?
I put 10-3. I don't know if that's right, but I put 10-3. Because it has to be 7, 8, 9 left, center, and
yeah. High drive by Higginbotham, deep to left field. It's got a chance. It's gone. Second home run of the ball game for the Canadian national team. And the lead swells to 4 once again. 8-4 Canada on top of Team USA.
only a 2-run shot, but I think when there are 2 outs, in this type of game, third inning, and you've only hit 1. Now, if you'd hit 4 or 5, that would have been a bad home run. But here, it's a good home run because of the situation and the fact that there's already 2 outs. I mean, you don't want to make an out and not get that runner in. We talked about clutch hitting, big hit with 2 outs, driving in 2 runs.
That's the second home run for Canada. Remember, you get 10 home runs, and everything after that is an out that goes over the fence. James Kelly pokes it down the left field line, and this one stays fair. Extra bases for Kelly. On his way towards second, he'll make it standing up.
Again, an impossible ball to get to. With the 3 outfielders, and as big as that outfield is, and as hard as these guys hit it, down the lines and into the gaps are very difficult balls to get to.
Bobby, with that big outfield, how come you're seeing 3 outfielders and 5 infielders? Why don't you put one of the infields in the outfield?
Well, that's the way the game used to be played, but because of the limited home runs, more people drive the ball, and this gives you a chance in the infield to catch it.
This ball is hit to the gap in right center field. It's off the wall. Sean Wallace with his second base hit. That drives in another run, and he's on his way towards third. Kelly gets himself a stand-up triple. The lead now 9-4.
As a guy who coached in the era where you played for, I kept arguing with Coach Shortland and as to why do you do that, because it is such a big area. But he convinced me this is the only way to play today so that you can get those outs in the infield.
Tim Bentley hits it to center field over the head of Rick Baker. Another run will score. Bentley, a stand-up double. That's now 4 consecutive extra base hits for the Canadian national team.
And 4 runs with 2 outs. I mean, that is big. You don't want to give extra outs, but the other thing is, can you make big plays on both sides, defense and offense? But at the plate, when you can score with 2 outs, it just is a little demoralizing to your opponent. Those are like extra big runs for your team.
St. John takes a ball. What are some of the things that Purcell can do as a pitcher?
He really tries to keep you off balance with the knuckler by moving it in and out. Especially if he gets ahead, he'll arc it and try to push it out to the limit. If you stand near the plate, he'll jam you. If you are away from the plate, he'll throw it a little extra outside. Again, that ball will move a little, but with the wind blowing in, it doesn't dance nearly as much as it does. Purcell prefers that wind to be blowing out against him.
First ball swinging. Eric St. John hits this to right field. Actually, this is David Bolt hitting it to right field, and that's the first time today that Bolt has been retired. All the way to the warning track, but Brian Wegman able to run it down. Side retired, but damage once again done. Andy Purcell gives up 4 more Canadian runs. The lead is 10-4. Canada on top of Team USA.
From behind one.
All right. First thing. Everybody, take a deep breath. All right, y'all amped up, which is a good thing. I want you to be amped up, but in control, all right? Just relax, have fun. That's why you guys are here. Just have fun. Here we go. Let's go. Come on. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Team USA trailing 10-4 in the third inning. Coach, what was that all about?
Trust is a must. Again, they are amped up. They're excited. He just wants them to get back to relaxing and hitting the way they're capable of. Sometimes you do that, to get on them, but here it was just to relax them and hey, let's play our game. If we do 6 runs, it's nothing at this level. I mean, they could put a 10-run inning together like nothing.
Top of the lineup here in the third inning, Don DeDonatis takes a strike, so he's quickly down in the count of ball and 2 strikes, a foul ball, and he'll be out number 1. High pop up to right field, playable. Catch is made.
Tell you what, Higginbottom's knowledge of these American players is crucial. He is really doing a great job of getting ahead of certain hitters that he knows may take a pitch. Then guys that like the first ball hit, he's teasing them, trying to make them hit a pitch that maybe is not the perfect pitch. And he fielded the middle. You have to give him credit. He's done a great job to start this game.
Brian Wegman from the Cincinnati area.
Here we go.
He was just phenomenal here in Oklahoma City a year ago. Went 22 for 24. Only made 2 outs at the men's nationals.
Yeah, that is incredible, and he's also in the long haul bomber contest.
And this is a home run, which you'd think would be a great thing, but it's not. That's a solo home run, which is not what you'd ever want to do at this level of slow pitch.
No, he's not happy about it. You know, his team's going to try to pick him up. He was trying to drive the ball into the left center gap, and he's so strong. And, I mean, that ball hit up on the scoreboard like a rocket. Look at him shaking his head. But again, he hit it well. Trying to hit it down into the gap, and it just carried way out of here. But I was saying Wegman's got 50 out of 60 home runs in baseball parks this year in the long haul contest. I mean, that's in Major League Baseball parks. He's hit 50 out of 60 pitches.
Smoked off the bat of Brett Helmer, kid out of Syracuse, New York. His second base hit of the ball game. Talk about the home runs hit for Team USA. They've now hit 2 home runs. Once you get to 10, you're capped out. The 11th home run is nothing but an out. So you want to really maximize the home runs that you hit. Solo home runs are definitely something you'd never want to see, particularly early in the ball game.
Not a part of the strategy.
J.D. Genter down the line in left field, and this ball goes off the wall, stays in the ballpark. It's going to be a long single for Genter.
Yeah, Helmer wasn't sure if that ball was going to be called. He was halfway, and Sean Wallace did a great job of pouncing on that ball off the wall and getting it back in. Keeping the force in play is so important because it allows your infielders to catch the ball and not have the pressure of throwing a guy out at a 65-foot base, but rather going to second or third in this case.
We've already seen Team Canada turn 1 double play. That was back in the first inning. Bryson Baker, the middle infielder. Another shot in the left field. Station-to-station softball right now. And stopping at third is Helmer. So bases full of Americans, 1 out in the bottom of the third.
Big moment early in the game. Bases loaded. Rusty Bumgarner, one of the great ambassadors of this game, an experienced player who really shares his knowledge. He gives hitting instructions. In fact, to the Canadians, they come down every April and he helps them. He and John McCraw, just amazing guy. Bases loaded, chance to hit a grand slam. You know he's trying to hit it out right now.
Yeah, we just saw him move up in the box, and that's indicative of what he's trying to do.
To hit the home run, because again, he'll get the ball on the way up with the right upswing. He'll get the spin. Instead, he hits a base hit.
So another single for Team USA, the 4th consecutive single. That's the 5th consecutive hit, and another run scores. It's now 10-6 Canada on top of the Americans.
They're not perfect. You know, they can't attempt to hit a home run and actually get a base hit, and that, I think, is what happened with Rusty right there.
Will Rick Baker attempt to hit a grand slam as well?
He certainly has the power to do it. I think it'll depend on the pitch. These guys are so disciplined, and I watch their batting practice. They have such bat control. If the pitch is right to go into the gap, he will. If it's the right to go home run, he will.
Line drive right to the second baseman, Cadenhead. And that was a missile, out number 2.
Again, with only the one exception, the Canadian defense has been exceptional. They've made all the plays that they could, and that one's just ripped right at him, and Cadenhead was ready for it.
Good base running by Team USA. That could have been another double play, but no one straying too far off the bat. Dennis Ruley from Moore Park, California.
Smallest guy, but great power.
Ruley hits it into center field. Another base hit. Coming around third and scoring is Baker. It's a 2-run double, not a 2-run single for Ruley, and it's now just a 2-run lead for Canada.
Big hit for Dennis. You know, he's very loyal. His son Easton, I'm sure, is at home watching. He's happy about that, and he actually, if you know anything about our game, Easton's a bat company that he was with for 15 years. He named his son Easton.
Oh, wow.
So.
It's a good thing he doesn't swing a Mizuno.
Yeah.
Right to the first baseman, Falardo fields it, steps on the bag, and the side is retired. Team USA, they continue to trail, but they do get 4 runs back off of Brian Higginbotham. Timeout in the field through 3 innings. Canada with 10 runs. Team USA nipping at their heels. They've got 8.
USA softball.
Top of the 4th inning, the border battle between the Canadian national team and Team USA. Canada on top by a pair. Leading things off, Jeff Gare from London, Ontario, plays in the States for Combat Northwest, based in Seattle. Lifts it to left field, 1 pitch, 1 out. Ryan Rainwater with the squeeze. Alongside Bobby Lutz, head basketball coach at Charlotte, the 49ers. I'm Eric Collins. Bobby Lutz, not only in the world of basketball, but also known in the world of slow pitch softball, both as a player on national championship teams and also a head coach on national championship teams in his native North Carolina. Coach, I want to ask you about pitching. We talk about the knuckleball that Purcell throws. Is there really any other weapon that a pitcher can use pitch-wise?
Yeah, you know, some people it's more about location, and Purcell tries to use the knuckler and location, in, out, up, down, knowing where hitters like the ball, and just keeping them off balance. I mean, obviously they're still going to hit the ball. You're just trying to keep it away from their favorite spots.
Ball gets past DiDonatis. When you're doing that, you're doing something. DiDonatis, a great defender, but it's going to be a single for Frank Henry.
Commentator curse, I talked about how good he is, and the ball took a little bit of a quick hop on him. But again, if you're not in person, it's hard to see how fast that ball really gets to you in the infield here, as hard as these guys hit it.
Ryan Cayley swings at the first pitch and drives it deep to right field. This one's got a chance. Back at the wall, looking up, it's gone. Another home run for the Canadian national team, their 3rd home run. It is now back to a 4-run lead. 12-8 is our score.
Those runs are big. The U.S. team answered with 4, and I think it's very important that the Canadian team was able to come back and score at least 2. Obviously, still 2 outs to go, just to show that they're not going to fade. You know, if they can stay playing ahead, that's big. If they can stay ahead, it puts pressure on the Americans every time the Team USA comes to bat.
Here we go.
Cadenhead swings at the first pitch and gets himself a base hit, possibly an extra base hit. On his way towards second, he'll make it standing.
And there's a great example of why they play 5 infielders. The ball still got through, but with 4 infielders in today's game, there's so many holes. There's no way. You just can't react that far in this game with 65-foot bases. If the bases were longer, you could play the infielders deeper. But, I mean, that ball was hit right between 2 guys, and they were ready. They just had no chance at making that play.
Here's Falardo, who hits it past the first baseman, Bumgardner. Stopping at third is Cadenhead as the ball's quickly back to the infield.
Different than baseball, you know, the pitcher will often be the cutoff guy, and that's what Andy Purcell was doing there in slow pitch. That's common. You also even see right in this situation, DiDonatis will play very deep at short, and Purcell will probably cover second in the event of a grounder, so that he will be the guy instead of the second baseman that would record the put out at second.
Here's the pitcher, Ryan Higginbotham. 2 for 2 so far today. Homered his last time up. Going for another home run, and he's going to get it.
Yes.
Second home run of the day for Higginbotham. This one a 3-run shot, and the lead now up to 7. Largest lead of the day for Canada. 15-8 is our score.
And that was a perfect time. 2 runners on. You want to stay away from the double play. If you try to drive it down and it happens to be a one-hopper, you might end up with a double play. Going for the home run way up in the box, as you mentioned earlier. Just a perfect swing at the top of the scoreboard.
Get that ball for me, will you? Need that one. Need that one.
So already a 5-run inning here in the 4th. This is the largest inning for any team so far today. Canada 4 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 4 in the 3rd, and now 5 here in the 4th.
And only 1 out, so you know, a very big inning possibly for the Canadians.
James Kelly hits it up the middle past Bryson Baker. That's now the 6th consecutive hit this inning. Coach, obviously Andy Purcell, one of the best in the world. Is it just his game? for 7 innings, or would you ever consider going to the bullpen?
Well, they have the luxury of having Lawson White, who was the most valuable player in the national tournament last year on a losing team, which almost never happens. A left-hander, so you could see it, but Andy Purcell is generally regarded as the best. And certainly, if we don't see them start to get some outs, they may consider Lawson White just because they have such a great second pitcher.
Hopper off the third baseman's glove. Genter couldn't field it, and that's going to allow runners to move into second and third. We had a soundbite from Genter early in the game talking about plays that needed to be made. That was a tough chance, but most times he makes that play.
He does, and those are the kind of plays that win games for you. When you can't make those plays, DiDonatis not playing, again, a very tough hop. Both of those were tough hops. But at this level, to win the game, those are the kind of plays that you need to make. If you give teams extra outs at this level, they're going to make you pay with big innings, with 4, 5, 6, even 10-run innings. And, the United States really didn't make errors as much as just did not make makeable plays so far in this inning, and as a result, Team USA is huddling.
Here we go.
Yeah, they're actually going to score that, an error on Genter, allowing Wallace to go into second and Kelly to move all the way to third. That's the first error for Team USA.
And that's a tough error. It was a rocket, and it took a little bit of a bad hop. But again, normally both DiDonatis and Genter make those plays.
So Tim Bentley will bat for the third time. He doubled his last time up. Runners on at second and third. Let's see if he's going for a home run.
It's a great time for it, but not.
On the ground, Genter makes this play, gets the sure out at first. They try and get the double play. They don't get it, but they do get it at third. Trying to take the extra base. They get Sean Wallace making it out on the base paths. That is a cardinal sin in the game of slow pitch softball, and Andy Purcell and Team USA will take it.
Yeah, never make the third out at third base. Again, he's just as good to be at second as he would be at third.
So the inning comes to a close, but more damage done against Team USA. The Canadians, they score 6 times. They now have a 16-8 lead. The home half of the 4th inning when we come back to Oklahoma City. Hall of Fame Stadium, watching something that maybe they haven't seen played in a while. This is men's elite level slow pitch softball. Border battle between Canada and Team USA. And in case you're just joining us, take a look at our Six Flags game summary. Team USA, they've pounded out 2 home runs so far. That home run by Brett Helmer. While the Canadian national team, they have hit 4 home runs. You're allowed 10 home runs during the 7-inning game. The 11th home run is an out.
But the Canadians have done a great job of getting the lead and keeping the lead. And that's, when you're the underdog, the longer you can stay in the game, the better your chances. The tighter that other team, the favored team may get. And Team Canada has played near perfect softball so far.
Someone get that girl a ticket. That's the old-fashioned knothole gang. You remember those at minor league ballparks around the country, looking through that knothole in the outfield fence? Doing it here, 2009 style. Bottom of the 4th inning. It's going to be the bottom part of the lineup. Jason Kendrick will be followed by the pitcher, Andy Purcell.
Here we go.
Kendrick, 240-pounder from Naples, Florida. Had that RBI single his first time up.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
3 balls, 2 strikes, a foul ball, and Kendrick will be out.
A great job of pitching down 3-1, just threw a pitch that was just close enough. It fell behind the plate.
Kendrick gets himself a base hit. He's a perfect 2 for 2.
Now that's the game within the game. The pitcher, if you can get that second strike, then the foul ball comes into play, and it takes away some of the hitter's options. So, but you don't want to make it such an easy pitch to hit. So Higginbotham threw 2 balls, that were close, and then that first strike or second strike was barely over the plate. Kendrick thought it was a ball, but it wasn't. And then now the pressure's on, but Kendrick delivered with a big hit.
Here we go.
Pitcher Andy Purcell. It's a high drive, shallow left field coming on. Sean Wallace makes the play. Coach, let's revisit what we talked about a couple innings ago. What actually is a strike? in this ball game.
Yeah, it has to fall below the front shoulder as if the guy was standing right at the plate. So even if you move up in the box or back, that doesn't matter. The umpire has to use his judgment. If the guy was standing even with the plate, it has to fall between the front shoulder and the back knee as the ball is arcing down. It has to be at least 6 foot high at some point, and it can never get over 12 foot high. If it does, then it becomes an illegal pitch.
Good pitch. Don DeDonatis yet to get a base hit so far today, going for the downs, and he gets it. 2-run home run for DeDonatis.
Don't think he really wanted to hit the homer there, but it just, again, that line drive that just carried. And if he would have went 0 for 3, it would have been such a huge upset. USA will take that home run very happily right now with the way the game's going.
Third home run as a team for Team USA. They get 10. And the lead is now 6 for the Canadian national team. 16-10 our score.
In the home run thing, you know, you want to use all 10, you know, and again, it's not automatic. I mean, these guys are close to automatic, but if you save them and then don't hit them in the end, you know, that's not good either, especially if you're behind. So that's why I think in this situation, that 2-run homer is very welcomed by Team USA.
Now here comes a man who's widely considered to be the best playing right now, Brian Wegman.
And the reason I think DeDonatis would like to have been on base is to let Wegman crank. Now he's got to try to hit it down somewhere. He's already hit a home run trying to hit it down. I think he will go up the middle or even to the right side here.
Wegman works the walk. As good as Wegman is, why is he hitting second in the lineup?
You know, because once softball's different. We used to actually, when I coached, I hit a power hitter first with unlimited home runs and had our natural leadoff guy hit last. And that way, once the game is in flow, it's like having a leadoff hitter at the bottom, but your best hitters get to hit more. You know, so late in the game, you want to have Wegman up there right behind DeDonatis in case the game's on the line.
This ball powdered deep to right field. No doubt about it. Brett Helmer, his second home run, a 2-run shot.
Big inning for USA to answer. The Canadians answered back big after the U.S. scored 4 with 2 outs in the third. To put a 6th spot up in the 4th was huge for Canada, and the U.S. has to answer back, and right now they're doing it.
Brett Helmer can deadlift 770 pounds. Shows off some of that power with his second homer of the ball game. He's now a perfect 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored.
I mentioned earlier he's got a bicep problem with his left hand, but he throws right. If it was in his throwing hand, he would already have had to have Tommy John surgery. But he's playing hurt and fortunately playing well.
Syracuse guys are tough. Still just 1 out here in the 4th inning. J.D. Genter takes a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Foul ball, and he's out. Genter, a solo home run. What do you think about a solo home run here?
You know, it's not what we wanted from the United States point of view, but give Higginbottom credit. The first strike he threw, again, barely went over the plate. He's trying to entice guys to hit it at bad pitches to keep them off balance. If he happens to get a strike, now you've got 2 on you, and that limits J.D. Genter's options. That pitch was inside. He kind of made him hit it, and when he pulled it, he got it up a little bit. If he wouldn't have had that second strike, he might have taken that pitch. But because he was in the hole, great job of the pitcher. Even though the home run's hit, it's not a bad home run from the Canadian point of view. Late in the game, that could come back to help.
Bryson Baker takes a ball. Coach, we're keeping track of home runs and how many runs they account for. That's the 5th home run for the Americans, and they've accounted for just 8 runs with those 5 home runs.
It's not the formula that Steve Shortland wants. You know, he says 10 home runs, 30 runs out of it. We're not on track for that at all so far, but this game has not went as we anticipated. That's the beauty of the game.
Even if Team USA hits 5 grand slams with their last 5 home runs, it's still only 28 runs accounted for. That's not what they wanted.
It's not. The game has not gone the way they wanted, but Team Canada, as I said, has to be extremely happy with the game right now where it is.
The only out of this bottom of the 4th inning coming off the bat of Andy Purcell, a fly ball to left field. That's it. Already Team USA has scored 5 times and they're threatening for more.
Yeah, but as you said, have used 3 home runs to get those 5. And obviously, that's what's amazing about these guys. And when I watched the practices, is how well they are, how well disciplined they are at taking the ball the other way. You know, the game's such an emotional game today, and it's such a big event for all of them. They're so proud of wearing USA across their chest. You know, I think they're just a little jacked up, but they are very good at being able to drive the ball down and hit the gaps. But, you know, this inning they haven't been able to do that. They've hit the ball hard, but 3 home runs.
Is it fair to say you win at this level of softball with singles and timely home runs?
Absolutely. The combination of understanding the situation and being disciplined enough and good enough, skilled enough to do those things.
Rusty Baumgartner.
Beat the shift. They pulled a little shift, Team Canada did, and Baumgartner still beat it and stretches it to a double.
That's the first time we've seen not a 5-man infield. The shortstop, Ryan Cayley, was actually deep out in the left center field.
And that reminds me of the old days when we had the power hitters that would never go the other way. You would shift one of the outfielders over into short left or short right, you know, and take your chances because most guys were swinging for the fences. And Higginbottom is just like Purcell. He's positioning every guy. If you look, you know, every time he's positioning him before he gets set.
And now back to that kind of standard 5-man infield. Middle infielder Jeff Gare is actually playing on the outfield grass, but only a couple of feet. This ball's got a chance to get out of here, and it will.
Oh, that's deep.
Rick Baker hits his first home run of the ball game. That's the 4th home run of the inning for the Americans. Their 6th home run of the ball game.
And we're tied.
16-16 is our score. That's you know you hit it far when the guys don't even want to chase it.
Come on, Dennis. Let's go here. Let's go.
He got all of that one, the knuckler, but it didn't move much. It was right up in his power track, and he just bombed it.
That's now 6 home runs, accounting for 11 runs for Team USA. They've only got 4 more home runs to play with, and then a home run is an out.
And those are going to be crucial these last innings because if you run out, then that limits your options in those last innings.
Dennis Ruley, the batter.
But what a great player.
And Ruley gets himself at least a single. Now it's going to be a double. Stand-up 2-bagger for Ruley. May have had a chance for 3rd, but figured why risk it.
Yeah, such great discipline, you know, the motion, the home run that tied it up, and Dennis comes up, and instead of, you know, giving him any chance of pulling the ball and hitting it up and out of the park, he goes up the middle into the gap and, you know, sets up the next hitter, Brian Rainwater, with him out on second base.
Coach, I can honestly say I may never have seen this before in my life. The line score is identical.
Yeah.
16 runs, 19 hits, and 1 error for each side. That's going to change now as that's the 20th hit for Team USA. Brian Rainwater gets his first base hit of the day.
Yeah, both he and Baker come through this inning. They both have made outs, and Baker hit the big shot, and then Rainwater, you know, the 2 of the younger guys, and you know, maybe a little nervous, but now into the 4th inning and settled down in 2 big hits in this inning.
Team USA trying to break the 16-16 tie. They have not led so far today.
Interesting here whether Shortland would tell Jason Kendrick to try to take it deep or not. They're using the shift again. They have that infielder out in short right field, so a little different configuration than normal here.
That's Todd Cadenhead, who's about 30 feet behind the infield grass. Swinging for the downs is Jason Kendrick, and Kendrick gets himself a home run. Yet another home run for Team USA. This a 3-run blast for Kendrick. His 3rd hit of the ball game, his 2nd hit of the inning. That's now 7 team home runs for the Americans.
Again, 3-run homers are hard to argue against regardless, and you just got to be very careful these last few innings not to hit a solo or even a 2-run shot unless it's later in the game. I think you'll see USA really trying to drive the gaps, again, unless that situation calls for the home run. But Kendrick hit a big one, putting the U.S. on top for the first time in this game.
So Team USA now up by 3. This by far the most impressive inning for the Americans. They've already scored 11 times. The pitcher, Andy Purcell. 0 for 2 so far today.
He actually made the only out of this inning, and
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, I've seen guys make all 3 outs in an inning in my time, so that's not something you want to do.
Going the other way, Purcell may have hit a home run that he didn't want to hit. He did. You actually heard it. You can see he's dejected as he runs the bases.
Yeah, the crowd's happy. They have no idea because they don't understand the complexity of the game and the strategy. But that's why he went to right field, is because he thought it was his worst chance of hitting a home run. You know, it's opposite field, and he's just very upset with himself. He's such a winner, and he was trying to drive the ball in the hole and just got it up and it went out of the park.
That's now 8 home runs for the Americans.
You know, a 4-run league with only 2 home runs left is not as great a situation as you might think, and especially with the Canadians having, you know, a number of home runs left. Well, they have 6 left.
Yes. D. Donatus takes a ball. D. Donatus is from Kissimmee, Florida. That's where he lives right now, but he's actually born and raised in Sterling Heights, Michigan. That's a suburb of Detroit. Played for his hometown team, at least in the minor league system. Was a farmhand to the Detroit Tigers back in the 90s after graduating from Eastern Michigan University and playing baseball there for a number of years. He makes an out. He's now 1 for 4. 2 outs here in the home half of the 4th inning.
Awesome, buddy.
Brian Wegman bats for the 2nd time in the inning. He walked and scored earlier this frame. He's also singled and homered. Takes a strike.
So now Higginbottom's got 2 strikes on Wegman. He'll probably, you know, he could go outside, but he'll probably try to jam him and see if he can make him foul it or make it tough to go the other way. Great piece of hitting.
Wegman does go the other way. Solid single, his 3rd hit of the afternoon.
You know, that's another big difference from 25 years ago. Power hitters like Wegman weren't able to do that. You know, to have the ability to hit that hole. Most guys were either pull hitters or up the middle hitters, but these guys can hit it anywhere. And then that was, again, a tough pitch inside. He fought it off and drove the hole between 1st and 2nd baseman.
Have the bodies changed?
Here we go.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're much more fit. Again, we had great athletes, too, but we also had some guys that are a little overweight back in the day.
Deep to center field. Is this another home run? It is. 3rd homer of the ball game for Brett Helmer. This one a 2-run home run. That's now 9 homers for the Americans. And this is a danger time. I don't think Helmer meant to do that.
No, he's, again, trying to drive it, but if you get under it just a little, that upward spin is what carries the ball out. And, you know, the only thing is if the United States get a big enough lead, you know, then not having the homers available will be okay. But if they don't extend this lead to 10, 12, 15, and even then Canada could come back, then it puts them in a very precarious situation late in the game.
Yeah, remember, Team USA is not trying to hit these home runs. So if this continues, once they get to 10 home runs, they're just going to be outs left and right.
They'll have to drive it down, and even more so on ground balls. Like that, the liners.
J.D. Genter gets himself a knock. He'll stop at first. 2-out base hit for the 3rd baseman from Chickamauga, Georgia.
Give me 4 balls out of there, will you?
And Genter hasn't been retired so far today. 3 singles and a homer.
He's exceptional. And you ask, you know, it's just like if you watch an NBA game on Classic and see Magic and Bird, they were great players, but the body makeup so different in pro basketball today than it is. Same thing in softball. These guys in the U.S. train year-round. They hit. Our guys worked very hard in the day, but, you know, they held other jobs, and it wasn't quite as extensive as it is today. Notice the shift. The middle infielder normally plays on the other side of second on a right-handed hitter. They're enticing Baker to pull it into that hole, taking away his favorite hole, which is to the left side of the pitcher. And then throwing him outside, which is the way that he should hit that ball. So I would watch for him to stay away from him here, but he gave him the inside pitch.
I'm at third,
Solid
John.
single up the middle for Baker, and that's now hit number 26 for Team USA.
Probably talking about the home run situation here. They're down to their one. Does he tell him to let it go, or does he tell Rusty to take it the other way, take it to the right side? The unusual shift is the shortstop is now deep. Gare's playing also kind of a short center field as well, because they have the force in play.
Bumgarner already this inning with a double, has scored a run. Gets himself a line drive single. It's going to make it to the gap. It's going to score at least one run. Baker being waved around third. Here comes the throw. It's off the mark. And another run scores, and it's going to allow Bumgarner to go all the way to third. Two-run double for Bumgarner.
You think about a 6'6" guy like Rusty Bumgarner, who's a power hitter and naturally can hit the ball out a lot. But for him to take that against the shift and drive the ball, like I would have done in my day. I mean, a base hitter could do that with that back control, but that's what makes these guys amazing, is to have that kind of power and still the skill to place the ball so accurately into little gaps that are out there.
Yeah, realistically, these guys, how good are they? When they're trying to hit a ball, can they hit their ball within a 3-foot window of where they're trying to hit it? As this is another base hit. Rick Baker driving in Bumgarner. He's going to try for two and make it.
Yeah, obviously they're not perfect because they've hit some home runs that they didn't mean to, but they're unbelievable, and it takes practice. It's like anything. I watch their batting practice, and a right-hander will come up, and the first thing he'll do is hit the ball to right field, his non-natural spot, and hit those gaps. Then he'll hit it up the middle. Then he'll hit balls between the short and third. Then he'll hit line drives into the gaps. Then he'll hit home runs. I mean, it's very precise. Then the left-hander will do exactly the opposite. Start with left field and then work his way around. And it just takes tremendous skill and a lot of hard work.
Here we go.
This is the 21st batter of the inning. Dennis Rulli hits it to short. This could end the frame. Good play made by Ryan Cayley, side retired. But major damage done. Team USA, they score 17 times. They now lead 25-16. Welcome back, everyone. Absolutely a gorgeous day. We are watching kind of a unique situation here. This is elite level men's slow pitch softball. It's the border battle between Canada and the United States for the first time today. Team USA actually leading Canada. I've never said this before in my life, but we just saw a 17-run inning. Team USA is now up by 9, but believe it or not, Canada actually could be in a decent spot. Coach, it's the home run situation.
Yeah, having 6 home runs left. If the Canadians can put the guys on the bases, they also don't have to worry about hitting too many home runs now in the 5th inning. But the key for the Canadians is they have to answer this inning. You're down 9. You've got to put 5, 6, 7. You don't have to get it all back, but you've got to at least get close. Or if you put up a goose egg or a 1 or a 2 here, Team USA may just bury them where they can't get back in the game.
Andy Purcell remaining in the game as the pitcher for Team USA. He has a little bit of a change defensively behind him. There's a new third baseman into the game for the Americans. J.D. Genter has been replaced at the hot corner. Genter out. The new third baseman for Team USA is Todd Jerling.
That moves Dennis Rulli to second. And with that additional hitter, this shows the flexibility. Wegman is now out of right field. He's still in the game, but Jason Kendrick is out in right, and they're a fresh defender out there.
First ball swinging, high drive to right field. This ball is going to be caught on the warning track by Rick Baker. 1 pitch, 1 out. He in the top of the 5th inning. Now joining us now is the head coach for Team USA, Steve Shortland. And Coach, I want to ask you, you've got a decent lead at 9 runs, but do you feel comfortable now that you guys have hit 9 of the 10 allowable home runs?
I'm not comfortable with a 20-run lead. I'm kind of greedy when it comes to stuff like that. It's a slow pitch softball. You're going to score a lot of runs. These are elite teams here, and 20 runs for these guys is nothing, or 9 runs is nothing for these guys. It's just the runs score quickly, and with them having all those home runs left, of course not concerned.
This is Dave Bolt in the batter's box. Coach, we saw you beginning of the game. I think it was the top of the second inning, maybe the bottom of the second. You brought your team aside and gave them a little pep talk. As this ball is hit to right field, it's going to be an easy play for Wegman. There's now 2 outs. What was the situation? What was the point of the conversation there?
The point of the conversation was really to get them to relax. You know, they're a little amped up. It's an exciting thing, exciting time for our sport. They're a little amped up. I wanted to take a breath, relax a little bit, and just play the game and not play uphill, but play downhill.
2 outs now. Bases are clear. This is Jeff Gare, and Gare hits a high popper to right field. And the play's going to be made. 3 consecutive fly ball outs. That'll do it. Steve Shortland, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Our first 1-2-3 inning. That is a rarity at this level of softball. We move to the home half of the 5th. 25-16. Team USA continues to lead against Canada. Missed opportunity for Brian Higginbotham and Team Canada. They go 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th inning. They still trade the United States by 9 runs. Time now for our Dermabond tough play of the game. We rewind to inning number 4. Ball hit to third. J.D. Genter gets the out at first. Run scores, but trying to move to third base and cut down is Sean Wallace. They're going to say that Wallace slid too far off the bag. That's an unusual 5-3-2-5 double play.
Absolutely, and that was big. At the time, it didn't seem that big because Canada had the lead, but you know that would have allowed them to score a couple more runs possibly. And then the U.S. had the huge inning in the 4th. Now have the lead and a chance to end this game if they can have another big inning here.
Yeah, the run-ahead rule is 15 runs through 5 innings. If one team is ahead by 15 runs, then the game is immediately ended. So a 6-run inning, and that'll be all she wrote here in Oklahoma City. Leadoff base hit for Brian Rainwater. Rainwater is now 2 for 4. Bounced out to the first baseman each of his first 2 times up, but solid singles each of his last 2 times at the plate.
And again, with the situation, staying totally away from home run, just made sure it was on the ground between the short and third. That first batting practice area that he would hit is exactly where he put it right there.
Here's one of the big names in the world of slow pitch softball. This is Dexter Avery. He is from Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Thank you.
He has got an important day job. There's number 24, Avery. He is a communication technical operator for the Army.
For Team USA going in for
one of those guys that have played a lot of high-level athletics, also an accomplished basketball, baseball, as well as softball player. Now, for the most part these days, he gets most of his athletic Jones out by playing softball.
Here we go.
You got it.
You see the pin on the hat there is to honor the military, our military forces, and Steve Shortland put that on every player, and I know that means a little extra to Dexter.
Dexter hits the ball right on the nose, but the first baseman, Falardo, makes the grab. Out number 1 here in the 5th.
Well hit, but just right at that first baseman, and he was ready.
Yeah.
Nice play by Falardo.
Behind the batter.
Here's that pin you're talking about.
United States Air Force and different military pins, and that's just that's what we're playing for today, is the name across your chest, USA and Canada.
On the ground, that's a foul ball. This is the pitcher, Andy Purcell, 39 years of age. Is there really a kind of a cutoff where you just don't see elite players playing anymore? Is there an age where your skills start to lose it?
You know, as you go in the 40s, you have to be exceptional to continue to play, but there are guys that do that. It's a matter. Todd Jerling's one of the oldest. 45's probably the max for, and most guys can't make it to there, but some exceptional guys can.
A guy like Andy Purcell, as accomplished as he is, how many games does he play each and every season?
Probably a couple hundred. It used to be, we used to play 150 to 175, but I think they play a couple hundred now.
Double headers, triple headers?
Well, tournaments, mainly tournaments. So if you stay in the winner's bracket, not so many, but you get in the loser's bracket, you're playing a lot of games.
Solid single to right field. Right fielder St. Jean overruns the softball, and that's going to allow Rainwater to move all the way to third base. It's probably going to be scored in error. Runners on at the corners. 1 out now. Team USA looking to get to 6 runs here in this inning. If they get to 31 runs total for the game, it's going to be all over. The run-ahead rule will take effect.
And, you know, 2 on and now at the top of the order, the odds look good for the USA. So Team Canada and Higginbotham have got to figure out a way to steal an out or 2, you know, in order to prevent the game from ending.
D. Donatus, just 1 for 4. He's flied out to center twice, also flied out to right. He's also homered.
That's in the gap.
Hits a laser beam into the gap in right center field, off the wall. That's going to plate at least 1. They're going to stop Purcell at third. No, now he's going to keep going. Throw to the plate. Purcell is out. They had to send him. I think they wanted to stop him at third, but D. Donatus was running right behind him. So Purcell kept going, and he's thrown out for out number 2.
Great play, you know, by Bolt running it down, getting the ball in as quickly as possible. Actually, I guess that was St. Jean that got it in and got it going. And you're absolutely right. D. Donatus was so fast that he pushed Purcell into having to run.
Guys, put the bat in. There's a bat right there. Thank you. He's got it.
Purcell out number 2. On a triple by D. Donatus. RBI for D. Donatus, but an out is recorded.
There we go.
Lead is now 10 for the Americans.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Again, the situation doesn't really call for a home run. It's kind of too bad for our fans. I'd love to see Wegman be able to crank one out of here like he's capable of.
Wegman has not been retired so far today.
He's a tough out, and that right side's open again, you know, to the right of second base.
High drive, deep right center field, back to the track. The catch is made by Eric St. Jean. So Wegman is retired. Team USA, they do not get to 15 runs. They cannot end the game. We'll have to play the 6th inning. Our score through 5. Canada down by 10, 26-16. The border battle continues. Canada against the United States. 26-16 is our score. Top of the 6th inning. This is an exhibition of men's elite slow pitch softball. Coverage of the World Cup of softball continues tonight as Team USA takes the field once again to face their main international rival, the Japanese national team. The KFC World Cup of softball presented by Six Flags on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern Time. Kat Osterman is expected to throw for Team USA. Team USA trying to get revenge for their loss in last year's gold medal game of the Summer Olympics in Beijing. All right, there's a look at the new pitcher. Lawson White comes on in place of Andy Purcell.
Yeah, a great defensive pitcher as well, although he gives up a home run as he enters the game. Frank Henry.
1 pitch, 1 home run. Frank Henry hits the home run, his first of the ball game.
Yeah, Lawson White, though, is you know, a lefty. He doesn't throw the knuckler. He really relies on location. You were asking about that earlier. He tries to get ahead of hitters, he told me. Once he's ahead, then he tries to go up, you know, or down and really stretch the strike zone and make guys chase questionable pitches.
Ryan Cayley, the batter, and he pops it up. That's going to stay close to the infield. Calling for it, making the play is Bryson Baker. Does it make a difference pitching-wise between right-handers and left-handers like we have right now with Lawson White?
You know, it's certainly not as pronounced as baseball, but it's coming from a different side, so it's a little different angle. You know, just so you know, and you can throw from wide angles, which Purcell really does a great job of. So it's a little bit different.
On the ground, right back to White.
Cat-like quickness up the middle, just like Andy Purcell. That's how Lawson White was the highest level of ASA softball. That's Class A MVP, even though they didn't win the championship. I mean, that's incredible because it's almost always the guy who leads his team to the championship. That's how good he played a year ago.
And look at that fielding position he got into, Coach.
Yeah, he's set. He's ready to go every time.
And another home run for the Canadian national team. This ball an absolute howitzer shot by Jeff Filardo, former Los Angeles Dodger farmhand. It's the 6th home run for the Canadian national team.
And I believe that's his second. He's a very powerful player. The problem for the Canadians is, solos. They're 2 solos, and when you're down 10, you need to, you certainly have home runs to use, but you'd love to have a couple guys on when you're hitting those home runs to catch up a little faster.
Eight runs is the lead for the Americans. Ryan Higginbotham, another home run.
Another solo shot. I guess they've decided just to get as many as they can any way they can, but the home runs are going to run out here shortly.
Higginbotham, his 3rd home run and as many at bats. He's now a perfect 4 for 4 with 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in.
That's 7, man. All right, hang on just a second. Yep.
Yeah, Coach, I don't think that was intentional.
No, it looked like he was trying to line it in that left center gap. Absolutely, you're right. It was more of that level swing that he just got the under half of the ball, and when you do that and you're as powerful as Higginbotham and guys like him are, that ball just flowed out of the ballpark.
So 8 is out, 5 is in. That's it, right?
So we're going to have a move here. We're going to have a pinch hitter come on. James Kelly is the scheduled hitter, and it looks like it's going to be Alan Blah.
Yes, just 5 for 8 right now.
Maple,
right?
Ontario, coming on to hit. That's a good look at Alan Blah. See the bat that he swings. Combat morphed.
Yeah, the composite bats are just incredible. They're made out of basically what Kevlar is. I mean, it's an amazing composite that's tested before the game. They were testing some bats to make sure that they met specifications because there's rigid standards to ensure the the integrity of the game.
Gotta have him.
Nothing but a foul ball. Count is even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, we haven't seen it so far today, but if you hit a foul ball with 2 strikes, it's considered a strikeout.
Yeah, and part of the reason you notice these guys a lot of their bats are older, and that's when they don't meet specification is there's a breaking in period, to be honest, because what you want is that bat to have have more compression, because then it's a trampoline effect, to hit with power. And the new bat hasn't been broken in yet, and so it's kind of interesting to see that.
On the ground, this will end the inning. Bryson Baker over to first, side retired. So 3-run score for Canada, all on solo home runs. Henry, Filardo, and Higginbotham with the solo shots. We move to the bottom of the 6th, 26-19, Team USA.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Available at Pep Boys, Target, Ace, Walgreens, AutoZone, Walmart, and other leading stores.
We have one shot to light this fuse. One event to help ignite each other's vision.
Because it all comes down to one question.
Who's gonna make the biggest bang?
X Games 15 starts July 30th on ESPN, presented by New Balance.
The morning is jealous.
Welcome back, everyone. Bottom of the 6th inning. Everyone's enjoying this exhibition. It's a border battle between Canada and Team USA. If you haven't seen elite men's slow pitch softball, man, you've seen a lot of it. 26-19 is our score. Team USA has blasted out 9 home runs. They've got 31 hits, and they lead by 7 runs.
The great thing about softball is there's so many different levels that you can play at, but hopefully this will inspire young people, especially if you finish your baseball career, to play at the highest level and see how good these guys are. And, you know, I hope that it'll grow the game because it's a great game and almost a lifelong game. They're leagues for over 50.
We're going to have a pinch hitter leading things off here in this 6th inning. It is John McCraw. And McCraw swings at the first pitch. And it's the 10th home run of the day for the Americans. That'll be the final home run that actually counts for Team USA. McCraw will round the bases, another solo home run. He's from Lake Wiley, South Carolina, and that was the definition of didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to, and he is one of the guys that have won the long haul trucking home run contest that's held in the major league parks. Helmer's the other guy that's here today that has won that. McCraw, a legendary home run hitter. He's actually still bruised, black and blue, from rotator cuff problems, and this is the first time he's batted all weekend. He's fighting that injury, but he wanted to be a part of this Team USA so badly. It's great to see that he got the pinch hit and came through with a home run, even if it's a solo.
It's our first look at Todd Jerling. He came on defensively at third base a couple innings ago. He's from Defiance, Missouri. He takes a couple of pitches outside the strike zone. He would be the graybeard on this year's team.
Absolutely, a veteran.
Smokes it into center field, and that's the first time today we're going to see an out recorded on a home run.
Yeah.
That's the 11th home run for Team USA, and it's by rule an out.
Did that ball ever get over 12 feet high? I mean, that ball was a rope, obviously trying to line drive it, and never got over 12, 15 feet high and just shot out of the park.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about if you're just joining us. This is going to be a 7-inning game. The bottom part of your screen is what we're talking about. Each team has a 10 home run limit. The 11th home run is an out. We just saw the 11th home run, and that's why Jerling is out number 1 here in the 6th. Higginbotham delivering to Bryson Baker. It's called a strike.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
That was close.
Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
3-2 pitch, hit to right field. It's going to get down all the way to the wall. Extra bases for Baker. He'll stop at second. That's his 4th consecutive base hit. It's his first double of the day after 3 straight singles. Kind of interesting the way that this team was put together, both Canada's team and Team USA. These guys have never played together before this week. They were just kind of plucked from different parts of the country and put together for this all-star team.
Yeah, the 10 Canadians are from Ontario.
Clean single. Rusty Bumgartner continues to do it. That's his 4th base hit of the day.
Yeah, 2 from Quebec, 2 from British Columbia, and then 1 from Alberta. But fast pitch is huge in Western Canada, and most of the women on the women's team, fast pitch team, are from the West. But Ontario is a slow pitch hotbed, and teams like the Toronto Orioles and the Toronto Higgins and the BC Destroyers, though, are also good. They're the defending Canadian champs, and then the U.S. similarly brought together from all over the country.
Rick Baker hits this one into the gap in left center field. It'll skip off the wall. Baumgartner not running well at all.
No, he's got a problem with his hamstring, but again, wanted to be a part of this so much that he's playing with some injuries, and they'll be very careful with him, obviously, the rest of the way.
Sir, very healthy.
Bobby, when you were coming up in the 70s as a player in North Carolina, that's when you were winning ASA national championships, and we talked about the fact that you won national championships multiple as the head coach team down in North Carolina. Stereotypically, which part of the country is the most dominant when we're talking about this type of softball?
You know, well, back then it was the South. You know, most of the teams, but you had teams out of Miami, Jerry's Caterers, but then there were teams from all over the country. R.T. Nelson had a great team here in Oklahoma. Campbell's Carpets in Concord, California, and then Steele's in Ohio, and you know, and it's just kind of grown. And to be honest, I've been away from it, and now it's all over the place. You know, Dan Smith is tremendous today. Long haul trucking, or long haul is a big team as well, and there are just so many good teams, you know, throughout the country today.
Ryan Rainwater goes the other way. Opportunity not made. Sean Wallace couldn't quite find it. And that's going to be another base hit for the Americans. And now it's danger time for Team Canada. They're down by 11 runs. The run rule is 15.
That was a big mistake. You know, if the Canadians want a chance to get to the 7th, they've got to make the outs. Yes, you know, you expect them to make that play, and that, you know, softball's different than baseball, where you'd have definitely been halfway. That looked like a routine play, so Dennis really did the right thing. You're trying to avoid the force out in slow pitch, so you tag to get to second, but when he dropped it, you can't advance, obviously.
This is Avery, his second at bat. Flies out to right. Good play made by St. Jean.
What a throw.
And Rainwater is out at second.
That was an unbelievable throw.
Heck of a play. Eric St. Jean turns the double play, makes the sliding catch, and comes up firing a dart to second. And they get the out on the base pass. Second double play turned by the Canadians. We will play 7 innings. When we come back, Canada down by 11, which is 3 outs to play with. We've reached the final inning, top of the 7th inning. Canada, they need 11 runs to keep this game alive. They trail the United States 30-19. We're playing men's elite slow pitch softball. But later on this very field, we'll have some women's elite fast pitch softball. The Japanese national team, the reigning gold medalists from the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, they are making their way to ASA Hall of Fame Stadium. They will take on Team USA later this evening when the World Cup of Softball continues. The KFC World Cup of Softball presented by Six Flags on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern Time. Kat Osterman expected to get the ball for the Americans. She is widely regarded to be the best, if not the second best pitcher in the entire world. 1 up and 1 down. Sean Wallace grounds out for the first out here in the 7th inning. Pinch hitter. This is the first look at Mike McKiltrick. And McKiltrick gets a base hit, comes off the bench, and rifles a shot into right center field. McKiltrick from Maple Ridge, British Columbia. The same hometown as Larry Walker, one of the all-time great outfielders in Major League Baseball history. Now just emptying the bench, everyone coming on and getting a chance here in the 7th. Jason Galichin will bat. He is from Langley, British Columbia. He hits the ball hard but foul.
Now here's where Lawson White's a little different. Andy Purcell would try to use the knuckler and jam the hitter.
1 ball, 2
Watch
strikes.
him maybe trying to go low or high to get him off balance. He went really low, but he still ripped it.
Another base hit for Team Canada on his way towards third. And making it easily is McKiltrick. Galichin is on at second. So second and third, just 1 out.
You know, and you said everybody getting to play, but you know, it's nice as a coach, both teams, to be able to go to your bench and bring in guys of this caliber. Obviously, you know, bringing in pinch hitters that are capable of making hits, and obviously you want to get them into the game, a chance to play in this historic game. But now they're producing, and Canada trying to make a run.
This ball is driven deep to left field and out of here. A home run for the center fielder, Dave Bolt. His 3rd hit of the afternoon, his first home run. And it's now just an 8-run lead for Team USA.
You know, and Canada would like nothing more than to make the U.S. team hit in the bottom of the 7th, to tie or get ahead and put the pressure back on USA. Again, without home runs, it would be very interesting if Canada can get it to that point.
That's now 8 home runs hit by Canada. They're still allowed 2 more home runs before they hit their cap.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
This is Jeff Gare. 2-hit day so far. Has the pitch inside. New catcher for Team USA, Dexter Avery. Another solid single, at least for Gare. He's going to try for 2. And he'll make it. He's going to try for 3. Why not? Team USA didn't get the ball back to the infield very quickly at all. And Gare has himself a 3-bagger.
and an excellent player, knowing that he could have hit the home run there, but you have 2 left, try to get 2 guys on, hit one, 2 more guys or 3 guys on, hit another one, and all of a sudden, they would be pushing on that 30-run mark, which could force the Americans to hit in the bottom of the 7th.
Here we go. No pitch.
Time is called before the pitch. This is Frank Henry batting.
Ball.
Well, Bobby, one thing that we've learned is the advantage that we thought Team USA was going to have is not nearly as significant. High drive, shallow left field. Coming on, Brian Rainwater makes the play. We just thought the Team USA, with the quality of the athletes on this year's team, that they would just really roll through Canada, but that hadn't been the case.
No, Canada really raised their game, and again, I think it started yesterday with the exhibition. They didn't play Gare and Henry. They didn't pitch Higginbotham and got beat 17-1, but they were pointed toward this game and showcase their country and their best players, and they came out with unbelievable energy today and really have played well. And it shows you, again, that on any given day, anything can happen.
Ryan Cayley trying to keep the game alive. Past the diving infielder Baker into right field. That'll score another run and make it a 7-run game. Cayley's 3rd hit of the ball game.
And down to your last out, still home runs to use. There's no doubt that Caden Head, he's going to try to hit as well as he can. If it's a home run, great. If it's a base hit, great. They've got to play not to make outs now. So if it's a ball that they need to try to hit out of the park, that's what they have to do right here because they're down to their last out.
Top of the 7th inning of what will be a 7-inning game.
Here we go.
The bulk of this game, Canada was on top of Team USA. Until that 17-run 4th inning for the Americans.
Yeah, they exploded in that inning and just showed, how deep they are, how many great players they have.
D. Donatus going to end the game with a flip to Rulli covering the bag. Side retired. Game recorded. So congratulations to Team USA. They win the inaugural border battle. They knock off Canada. Final score 30-23. We'll be back to wrap it up in a moment. Progressive presents the border battle, USA versus Canada, is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, the freedom to name your price. Visit progressive.com today. By Six Flags, more fun, Six Flags. And by Dermabond, official sponsor of USA Softball. Man, that was a lot of fun. The inaugural border battle is won by Team USA. The final score is correct. The United States 30 runs on 37 base hits. They knock off Canada 30-23. Let's take a look at our Progressive big stick of the game, and it's a kid out of Syracuse, Brett Helmer.
Brett Helmer, unbelievable power. Again, playing with a biceps problem, needs Tommy John surgery probably, but you couldn't tell it with those big hits. He's a former winner of the long haul trucking home run contest, which is held in Major League Parks. This year's will be held in mid-September at San Diego's Petco Park.
Well, picture perfect day for the Americans. They win going away. We've got a combined 53 runs, a combined 64 hits, and 18 home runs. Be sure to join us again at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have a rematch of last year's Olympic gold medal game in Beijing. A game won by Japan over the United States. Team USA looking to get some revenge in fast pitch softball. For my partner, Bobby Lutz, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Eric Collins saying so long for now from Oklahoma City. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.